Well, I got something to say. Glenn Danzig, former frontman of the Misfits, made his very own Devilman clone at one point. For those of you who aren't familiar with Danzig, he was one of the founding members of the horror punk rock group The Misfits, which influenced a ton of metal bands in the 80s, and also he doesn't eat hot dogs. He also just so happened to be a huge weeb long before anime was even mainstream. He used to sport this skull and crossbones design that's taken from Captain Harlock. It's almost like he's trying to cosplay as Harlock at some points with the hair and gloves. Not to mention he had a pretty big toy collection of Astro Boy and Mazinger Z, and there's a bunch of pictures of him with anime shirts. Eventually, in 1994, he ended up founding his own comic book company called Verotik, which takes the word violent and combines it with erotic. It's genius. Danzig's never been shy about his love for Devilman either, and his company went on to publish some of Shin Devilman a year later after the company's debut, which Go Nagai was reportedly dissatisfied with after Verotik editions were colored and resized. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Nagai didn't want to work with them as much after that because there were only 3 issues published, and a year later Danzig made a character that was very similar to Devilman called Satanika, the nastiest bitch on hooves. Oh, brother. Danzig would be the one writing the series along with artists like Simon Beasley, and even Frank Frazetta pulled in with some of the cover art. There seems like there's a couple other runs of Satanika, but I've only been able to find about 4 issues of the original run, so let's go ahead and dive in this rabbit hole. Man, I'm glad I can only find like 4 issues of this because I feel like I need to take a shower after reading it. I've never really been subjected to Danzig's writing before, so I had no clue what to expect. I knew he had an edgy personality and he doesn't really rub me as an intellectual powerhouse, but there was a twinge of hope that maybe he would have been a little bit better than this. So issue 0 is like the origin of Devilman, but way less weird and interesting. Part of the reason Devilman's mythology is so captivating is because of its religious aspects are presented in such a unique way. Here it's just basic angels and devils, but after the war, one of the demons decides to a woman because of course that would happen in a comic written by Danzig. This woman later gives birth to Satanika, and that's basically issue 0. There's nothing special, but the artwork by Simon Beasley is pretty good. He's just drawing monsters and women, which is what he does best. You even get some art from a variety of artists from America and Japan. It's honestly the best part of the issue, which is very worrying, but it immediately goes downhill after this first issue. So after Satanika awakens, she immediately gets attacked by coyotes, and then she runs into a group of thugs. A woman. Why, Danzig? Why? Then the most baffling thing happens. The thugs don't run away at the sight of this demoness, but they walk up to fondle her chest. I have never felt my breath exit my body so quickly when I read this. This shit makes Garth Ennis look tasteful in comparison. I'm really glad I gave up there because the writing gets even worse somehow. It just turns into mindless schlock with Satanika's father sending assassins after her. I don't think it's even explained why he's doing this. He just doesn't like her, I guess. I mean, when you look like this, I can see why. I was kind of hoping I could just turn my brain off and enjoy the artwork and violence, but I couldn't get past that artwork. After issue 0, Beasley gets dropped for Duke Mighton, and the art is butt ugly. I wasn't familiar with him, so I looked him up, and his other artwork doesn't really look that bad, but here it's just garbage. It has that specific American comic book style that's gross to look at. Issue 3 actually attempts to introduce characters with an assassin called Igrat. This is meant to be her rival, I guess, because she looks similar, but then there's a moment during the fight that's really weird. After beating Satanika senseless, she tries to kiss her and have sex with her, I guess, and her father approves of it.
I can't take any more.
That's all I could find for the Satanika comic. I don't know what happens after this, and I don't want to know. I'm just glad it's over. If you want something that's violent and erotic, there are plenty better comics and manga. As for me, I don't need any more watered down Devilman in my life. But the rabbit hole we're peering down goes way deeper when you visit Verotik's website. There's some comics that we looked at, but wait. What's that? Satanika anime video cassette? No! Oh my god. This entire 3 minutes of footage is way better than the entirety of what I just read. Madhouse was actually going to do a Satanika anime with Rintaro and Yoshiaki Kawajiri. That actually sounds appealing. I did get the sense that Danzig was trying to emulate a lot of those hyper-violent OVAs, but it fell incredibly short, and so did the anime project because it never got released. This might sound hard to believe, but Verotik was having financial issues and closed. I can't imagine why when they were putting out so many masterpieces. And that's the very pitiful life and death of Satanika. I don't know who would find this appealing. Maybe if you like schlocky, so bad it's good horror films, but this is the worst thing that I've read. It's a way less interesting clone of Devilman, and it's stripped of all its substance.